A grocery store chain does not lose 22% of its value in one trading session because people stopped buying milk. That number, 22.3%, is not a dip, it is a verdict. Wall Street just repriced everything it believed about Albertsons in a matter of hours. So the real question is not what happened today. The question is whether the market just made a rational correction or a catastrophic overreaction, because those two answers lead to completely opposite decisions. We are going to find out exactly which one this is. To understand a 22% single-day collapse, you need to stop thinking in headlines and start thinking in mechanics. Stock prices move on the delta between expectation and reality. The bigger that gap, the more violent the repricing. So what was the expectation for Albertsons, and how badly did reality miss it? Albertsons operates roughly 2,270 stores across 34 states under banners including Safeway, Vons, Jewel-Osco, and Shaw's. It is not a small regional player. It is one of the largest supermarket operators in the United States. That scale means analysts watch its comparable store sales growth, comps, as the primary health signal. Comps measure how existing stores are performing year over year, stripping out the noise of new store openings. When a company of this size and perceived stability misses on comps, while simultaneously warning that cost pressures are not easing, the market does not give it the benefit of the doubt. Grocery is a business where operating margins typically run between 1.5% and 3%. That is not a typo. Every dollar of revenue generates between 1.5 and 3 cents of operating profit. At those margins, a modest increase in shrink costs, labor costs, or supply chain friction does not just dent earnings, it can cut them in half. The credibility problem compounds the financial problem. Albertsons entered 2026 still carrying the reputational shadow of its failed merger with Kroger, which collapsed under regulatory pressure. Investors had already questioned management's strategic vision. A disappointing earnings print in this context does not get interpreted charitably. The market prices in a question mark over the entire forward narrative. The actionable insight here is this. When you are analyzing any company with thin operating margins, your first job is to stress test what a 50 to 100 basis point margin compression does to earnings per share. In a business like grocery, that math is brutal, and today proved it publicly. Here's where serious analysis diverges from panic. The question is not whether the news was bad. The news was clearly bad. The question is whether a 22% single-session decline is a proportionate response to that bad news, or whether the market briefly lost its mind and created an entry point. Let's think about this with some structure. Before today's move, Albertsons was trading at a price-to-earnings multiple that was already modest, consistent with a low-growth, capital-intensive consumer staples business. A 22% haircut on a stock that was not priced for hypergrowth suggests the market is not just penalizing the quarter. It is reassessing the baseline earnings power of the business going forward. That is a meaningful distinction. If this were a one-time cost spike, a temporary labor disruption, or a brief commodity price surge, you would expect a 7 to 10% correction, followed by a recovery as the transitory nature of the issue becomes clear. A 22% move implies the market believes this is structural. Persistent food cost inflation, ongoing shrink problems accelerated by retail theft trends that the industry has struggled to contain, and intensifying price competition from Walmart and Amazon Fresh are not going away in one quarter. At the same time, overreactions are real, and they are documented. When a stock drops 20% or more in a single session on an earnings miss rather than a fraud revelation or an existential structural collapse, the data historically suggests the selling is often exhausted in a compressed window. That does not mean the bottom is in on day one. It means the risk-reward calculus shifts. What professional investors do in this moment is not buy or sell immediately. They rebuild the earnings model from scratch using the new guidance, assign a revised multiple, and determine what the stock is actually worth at the new cost structure. That is the only defensible framework. And critically, this is not financial advice. This is how you think, not what you do with your money. Every violent single-day move in a well-known stock is a tuition-free lesson. If you actually extract the lesson instead of just watching the number change color on your screen. The first lesson from Albertsons today is what margin compression actually feels like in a real business. Beginners often look at revenue and think stability. Albertsons has enormous revenue. It generates tens of billions of dollars in annual sales. But revenue without margin is just activity. The grocery sector is the clearest possible example of a business where you can be the second largest supermarket operator in the country and still be one bad cost cycle away from an earnings miss that wipes out a year of stock gains in a single afternoon. The second lesson is about the post-merger hangover. When the Kroger-Albertsons deal was blocked by regulators, Albertsons was left in strategic limbo. The market had already partly priced in a takeout premium. When that premium evaporated, the stock derated. Today's earnings print hits a company that is still working to reestablish an independent growth narrative. Bad news lands harder on a stock that has not yet rebuilt investor confidence. This is a pattern, not just an Albertsons story. Watch for it in any company that has recently exited a failed M&A process. The third lesson is about position sizing and sector concentration. Consumer staples are often pitched to new investors as safe and boring. Today is a data point against that assumption. Thin margin businesses are fragile by definition. A diversified portfolio does not mean owning 5 grocery stocks. It means understanding the shared risk factors across your holdings. Finally, and this is the part most beginner content skips, the investors who consistently build wealth through volatile events like this are not the ones who react fastest. They are the ones with a pre-built analytical framework who know exactly what data they need to update their thesis, and who have the discipline to wait for it before acting. Build that framework before the crash, not during it. We opened by asking whether today's 22% drop was a rational repricing or an emotional overreaction. The honest answer is that it contains elements of both, and that ambiguity is exactly where opportunity and risk live simultaneously. The next question worth examining: with Walmart and Amazon Fresh aggressively expanding their grocery footprint through 2026, is traditional supermarket retail a structurally declining business, or a consolidation play waiting for the right buyer? We will get into that. Subscribe so you don't miss it.